There are 7 billion people in this world. 7 billion. And out of those 7 billion, only one person was going to walk away with the gold medal in the 2008 Olympics in the decathlon and have the title of the world's greatest athlete. They actually say that the odds of you winning any Olympic medal, any Olympic gold medal, are 22 million to 1. And if you know anything about my story at all, you know that often in my life I felt like my odds were worse than that. You see, I didn't have a long, rich lineage of Olympic athletes or professional athletes to follow in the footsteps of. I came from one of the smallest states in the country. In fact, I'm the smallest person to ever win the decathlon gold medal. Why is that so funny? You see, I only got involved in sports because a counselor told my mom that if she didn't want to find me dead or in prison in the future, that she needed to get me involved in sports. And the only reason why I got involved in track and field is because my mom gave me the option of running track and field or swimming. And I was deathly afraid of wearing Speedos, and so track and field was it. Now, in all seriousness, I know that the odds were not in my favor. Right? I mean, it just wasn't looking good for me. But I also knew that, so that's why when I come and speak to people and I get the opportunity to share my story, I often will default to stories of me being the underdog or me overcoming the odds. And the reason why I do that is because people love underdog stories, right? I mean, we all love underdog stories. I mean, think about some of the movies that we watch. We've got Braveheart and The Karate Kid, right? Rocky. I mean, these are movies that we watch over and over and over again. Think about history. We've got stories like David and Goliath, the Spartan army of 300, right? These are stories that we always tell. Even in politics. I mean, did you guys know that in 2012, Barack Obama and Mitt Romney were both asked who the underdog was in their presidential race, and they both pointed the fingers at themselves? Barack Obama said that he was the underdog because of his race and because of his upbringing and his background. And Mitt Romney argued that he was the underdog because he was the non-incumbent and the Washington outsider. You see, everybody loves an underdog. America loves an underdog. We support the underdogs. We vote for the underdog. We want to see the underdog to win. And the reason why is because it's a story that resonates with us, right? It's the American dream. I mean, what's more American than building something out of nothing? Right? I mean, that's the ultimate American dream. And it's very easy for me to get excited and all jazzed up about the underdog story because, again, it's something that resonates with me. But I have to be really careful that I don't start to sound like Pinocchio in that popular Geico commercial. You guys know what I'm talking about? You know, Pinocchio standing up in front of a group of people like this, and he's pointing at individuals in the crowd, and he's saying, you have potential, and you have potential, and you over there, you have potential, right? And with each affirmation, Pinocchio's nose begins to grow, right? Suggesting that he's lying. Now, before you guys get upset and start to think that I'm suggesting that you don't have potential, that is not the case. I actually believe that we all have potential. And I don't think that Pinocchio's nose was growing because he was lying. You see, the question is, if we all have potential, what are we going to do with it? Right? Far too often, we fall victim to a subtle trap that creates us spectators in life. We've become more comfortable with watching people run their race rather than getting in the race ourselves. And I know that I'm using a running analogy here, and so for those of you that need clarity, I am not talking about, a foot race. I'm talking about the race that we call life, right? And so what I want you guys to understand is that there's opportunity no matter where we look. Everywhere we turn, there's opportunity. We have the opportunity to create a better world. We have the opportunity to change or create a better person. And it doesn't matter what our background is or our race is or where we come from, right? We have the opportunity to not sit and watch life pass us by. And I know that some of you might be sitting here thinking like, yeah, Bryan, I get it. Like, I hear you. And there are some others of you that are thinking, you know what? I didn't even know that I was a spectator in my own life. How do I get moving? I'm stuck in a rut. And my solution for you today is very simple, right? It's a very simple thing. What you need to do is you need to stand up. And you need to take one foot and put it in front of the other, right? And then you need to take the other foot and put it in front of the other one. You need to take it one step at a time. You see, if I had to focus on everything that had to go right in my life to win a gold medal, or even worse off, if I focused on everything that could have gone wrong in my life to keep me from winning the gold medal, I would have been crushed. I would have been paralyzed with fear and with doubt. I probably wouldn't have gotten out of bed most mornings. And what I want you guys to understand is that a race is nothing more than putting one foot in front of the other. It's taking one step at a time. And oftentimes life is exactly the same. It's just getting up and putting one foot in front of the other, taking it one step at a time. You see, when I was training, I learned something. I learned that every step along the way was going to prepare me for the times that were going to define me. Right? I don't know if you guys heard me. Every step along the way is going to prepare you for the moments that will define you. And so my challenge today is a simple one. My challenge is I want you to get up. I want you to put one foot in front of the other. I want you to take it one step at a time and run your race. And don't just run it, but run it in such a way as to receive the prize. You see, I get it. We are all going to be underdogs in our own stories. I know that the odds are 22 million to 1 or maybe even greater. And yes, you are just 1 in 7 billion. I know that the odds are not in your favor or in mine. But that is what is going to make it such a great story. Thanks for having me.